along with this presentation. These are some of the reflection questions that you might want to ask yourself, and kind of take it down and try to really dig deep and answer the questions honestly, so that you be able to move forward and towards going through this journey with your child. Let me just read one or two questions. It says, how are you being gentle with yourself? Where are you in the process? And we talked about that, being patient with yourself. How are you doing? How are you doing? Because we are so concerned about the child, but how are you doing, mom? How are you doing, dad? And that's one of the things we need to really yeah. So these are some of the questions that that's in the workbook. Now what, guys? All right, now what? I have 10 tips that I came up with. And then after I read my little 10 tips, Sherry and Nikki, if y'all have any other tips, you can chime in with it. So I have 10 tips for families with a new autism diagnosis. 1, take a few days before you make any important decision, meaning on medical care, mental health care, therapies, speech therapy, OT, PT, everything. Don't make a decision right away. Take your time, because you want the best thing for your child. Number 2, try to plan some alone time with you and your partner, if you have one, for like a week or two after the diagnosis. Take some time together to talk about it, try to connect with each other, because in the second half of this presentation, we're going to talk about married couples, or couples and other family members, how to deal with this diagnosis. So make sure you take some time with your significant other when you're, or the child's father or mother, right after the diagnosis, because you don't want to make any decisions without them as well. Number 3, decide who you're going to tell. A lot of times you don't want to tell everybody right away. I told my immediate family, but I didn't tell everybody. You know what I mean? Because you're still processing it. So take your time and decide, who you're going to tell, or who you're going to connect with to try to get you through this process. Number 4, don't focus too much on the future. And that's one of the things we try, or we sometimes do. We're thinking too, ahead, instead of just thinking like, okay, what are we going to work on tomorrow? Are we going to work on how to use a spoon? Are we going to work on it? You know what I mean? We're thinking about, oh, he's not going to go to college. like wait, you ain't even got there. Like, they only 2. Wait a minute. So, because that's going to drive you crazy when you're thinking about the future, when you're thinking about years ahead of time. And that's sometimes we parents, we fall into that. We're thinking way ahead of time, and we still, the kid is still working on tomorrow, or how about today? Number 5, remember that your child is a child and not a project. Ooh, child. Remember, your child is a child and not a project.
For something for you to fix.
Exactly. Remember, that is still your baby that you birthed or adopted or whatever. It is not something that you doing work management on. This is not a project management situation going on here. So take that out of your mind. And number 6, like I told y'all, look, get you a few binders and some paper and a place to put on it, so you have everything you need. I'm trying to tell y'all, document everything. Keep everything. Because especially when you're dealing with these schools and stuff, they sometimes are not your best friend. You're going to have to like pull out, nope, because last time we had this meeting, baby, no, you said this, and he was supposed to get that. And then you'll have everything that you need, for your meetings. Number 7, I'll say keep a record of every interaction you have with, like, that goes with number 6, with the schools, therapists, and doctors regarding your child. Even if it's a casual discussion in the hallway, even if you just having a little discussion with your teacher, hey, Caleb, such and such and such. I'm writing it down. Number 8, get familiar with the laws that affects individuals with disabilities. Parents, get familiar with the laws. Get familiar with the rules and regulations. Anything that's being passed, anything that's in that's being looked at to be passed, that has anything to do with the persons with disabilities or in the special education system. That is very, very important. You need to know what affects your child in the long run, not just when he or she is in school, but what will affect them when they become adults. Number 10, a tip is find your local support and advocacy group. And number 9, number 10, I would say meet with a financial planner, or have a plan in place, or working on the plan in place, depending on what age you are, for your child, because they do grow up. They do become adults. And as they grow up, you get old. That's just life. So make sure you're working on a plan. Okay, when I'm no longer able to run around with Mr. Caleb, what I'm going to do? Where's this money coming from? Who's going to support both of us? So, ladies, any other tips you want to give to the parents?
Don't focus, spend more time and focus more on some joy and positives of your child. You've got to take time to celebrate those positive things and the joys that your child brings to you. You have to at those intensely, and you need to do it every single day. Find time to write down. I keep a gratitude journal, and write the positives every single day of, even if it's nothing more than your son tied a shoe to,
right?
Celebrate the little things.
Nikki?
All great tips. All great tips. And this is just all great tips for parenting, period. But even more for this is just awesome. I absolutely agree with all of it. It's an awesome plan. And I wish, a lot of people had access to this information. So it's definitely something I'm going to share whenever I have the opportunity to have people reach out to you, because I'm out in the park a lot, with a lot of children, and some things I can see that others may not be able to see. And just to conversate with the parent for a little bit, I can see that they're not even fully aware at all. They just have so many other children to focus on, and they're going to grow out of the speech thing or whatever the case may be. But to get them comfortable enough to talk about it, and let's talk about praise. So that part of it, I'm absolutely for. Positive affirmation, praise, and smiles, kindness. It is so important for them to see that. So that's great. I applaud both of you ladies. You ladies are awesome.
Thank you.
And I would love to meet your children and interact with them. It's a blessing.
Sherry, I don't know how long you're going to stay on, but we about to do the couples.
I'm gonna have to bow out here shortly. I don't know.
Okay. Hi, Monkey. He's just all over.
He is never far from my.
He is ready for mommy's attention right now.
Near bedtime, so
yeah. I understand. Thank you so much for coming up here. Yes. Of course, we're gonna do this again.
Definitely. Let me know when, and I'll be here. And thank you so much for having me. And it was nice meeting you, Nikki. And
it was so nice meeting you, Sherry.
Because we need more people like you. We really do. So thank you.
Yeah, trying to spread the love is all.
Good night.
Have a good night.
All right. So, you ready, Nikki? All right, let's get to this part. How does a couple stay connected and strong? After the initial shock, most couples experience fear, anger, denial, all the same things as a couple, not just separately. Um, the Americans, the APA reports about 40 to 50% of married couples in the U.S. divorce, and that's before factoring in the challenge of having a child on the autism spectrum. It says that 40 to 50% of married couples with a child with autism will divorce. That's a big
Yeah, that's half.
yeah, that's half of the couples.
That's half. And you never know
um
how someone is gonna, you know, deal with this.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, not only are you dealing with the stages, your husband or the child's father is dealing with it too, and everybody's dealing with it in different ways, you know, and some may not be nice, but but yeah. So, how does a couple stay connected and strong after the autism diagnosis? One, communicate. Uh-oh, I moved it. I'm sorry. Communicate. 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 That is so big. And
And
but and matter of fact,
honest communication.
oh
Like you
yes, that's
said,
what I was about to
expressing
say.
that
Honest
grief,
communication.
I blame myself. What did I do?
Right.
You know, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Let it out. The vulnerability. Like, what are we gonna do
Yes.
next? The blueprint you had, those 10 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You gotta talk about it.
So you have to
Think
communicate.
positive.
Yeah, it's important to stay connected as possible as with your spouse to keep the lines of communication open. The more you can communicate in these challenging times, the stronger you will be as a couple. You and your spouse may not react to the child's diagnosis the same. Ladies, I'm going to speak to the ladies. Ladies, do not pressure the father or husband or whatever to deal with it the way you're dealing with it. Because even in other things, we think that men should react or feel the way we feel about things, like why isn't he crying, or why is he, I'm sitting here boohoo crying, why he not. So do not think that the child's father has to react the same way you do, because they won't, because they're different. Don't be afraid to fight sometimes. Don't go to blues, but yeah, I mean, if there's a little argument, little tension, get it all out, because having a kid with autism can be stressful. There'll be times where you both are stressed out, you're bothered, you don't know what to do. So don't be beat yourself up if you guys have a little spat or whatever, because I mean that's just another part of emotions.
Because like you said, you both already had
Right.
expectation for the child. So now
Mhm.
we're adding another expectation, and we may not
Right.
see the same thing. So it needs to be discussed. What
Hmm.
expectations are we looking forward to? You know, we got to take small steps and be patient with each other as well as the child. But
Yeah.
communication is so important either way.
Hmm. And and for example, how the guys, the men, that son baby, my son gonna play football, my son gonna play that, my son gonna do this and this and this. You have to understand that when that dad has that first son, they have all these things in their mind. I mean, the moms too, but I'm just using an example as your husband or the child's father. They have this in their mind, and my son's gonna do this, we're gonna do this together, we're gonna play catch up. And then to find out that your child may not even do none of that. You have to ladies, you have to understand that they are going through the stages as well. They are feeling a death as well, the death of the life that they thought they were going to leave with their child. So please be mindful of that. Number 2 is pick a path together. Do the research together, learn together, think of, don't, as us ladies, I'm only speaking as ladies because we just be doing too much. Don't make decisions without the dad. Don't take things in your own hand. Include them. One of the reasons, a lot of times there's tension between the couples because you're not including them in things. You're, think I'm the mama, so I'm just gonna do everything. No, include
Or
them
not,
in. And go ahead.
yeah. And not even just that, they think their way is right.
Exactly.
Their
Yeah.
way of doing everything with this child that belongs to him as well
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
right. You may not want them to be as tough or stern or whatever because
Mm-hmm.
the child is not normal. You know what I mean? But some
Right.
disciplines need to be there. They still need to have their dad play his dad
Exactly.
role,
Mm-hmm.
to a degree. Yeah.
Yeah. Number three, be understanding and kind to each other. When couples have different parenting approaches, yes, to their child with special needs, this can be a major source of stress, especially when it brings them into conflict. Find a way that you and your husband or wife can understand each other is the first step to making things better between you two. Be kind to yourself and your spouse during this difficult time. Um, Rethink your priorities. Number four, take the time to adjust work life, home life. That's one of the things that I find a lot of couples have an issue. And I hate to say this, but a lot of times with the dads, they don't change their life when the diet comes, meaning that you know um they're not picking doing things extra with the child's therapy, with um their doctor's appointments and things like that. And so this can cause tension with the mom because she feels like she's doing it by herself. So life changes with both marriage and children, especially if you have a child on the spectrum. Being willing to be flexible with your schedule and family life, maintaining healthy relationships and marriage with your spouse is crucial to establishing um, stability in the household. That is very, very important. That's even important for the child with autism. They thrive on stability and routine, and
And
it's
they'll
the best
thrive even more better if you guys are kind to each other.
thing. Exactly.
If they living in conflict, when you're always
Mhm.
in conflict and screaming, yelling,
Mhm.
it's not going to be healthy. It's
Right.
healthy for a child that's not on the spectrum.
Exactly.
So
Mhm.
just imagine what you're creating for this child's mind young.
Mhm.
So we got to be very conscious of how we behave around our children.
Yes. Working together, we kind of touched on that. Um, Typically, one parent becomes a primary caretaker for the child on the spectrum, and yes, this is usually the mom. And that's fine as long as both parents have responsibility and knowledge, acknowledge each other's contributions. Caretaking doesn't have to be 50-50, but without participation from both moms and dads, resentment festers. This is one of the biggest arguments, um, when you can't, you know, work together. For example, two heads are often better than one in an IEP meeting, at doctor's appointments, at therapy sessions. Working as a team creates a stronger bond between the two people. Share responsibilities at home whenever possible. Work together on chores, childcare, homework, and other household tasks. Don't let one partner carry too much of the daily responsibilities. It's very important because, again, this is a very stressful situation. And if you have heavy shoulders, because trust me, I know I was, a single parent raising Mr. Caleb. I had no choice but to do it on my own. And if I had another option, I wouldn't, because I was literally burnt out till it caused actual physical reaction of me being burnt out. So it's very important. Get counseling is the next one. Create a support system. We talked about that. Just don't rely on your husband or wife. Create a support system outside of your husband and wife as well. Um, the next one is reconnect with others. During once you first learn about the autism, a lot of people kind of shun away from their family and friends. This is a good time to reconnect with your family, with your friends, do things with other people, educate them on, what's going on with your child as well. Practice daily acceptance, understanding and accepting the things that you can't change and work towards the things that you can together. Help each other focus on the present and what you can make things better today. Get sleep. Yes, something that I still don't do. And also, look, date night. Spend some time together. Plan some time alone, even if it's just for a few hours a week, to relax, have fun together, try to enjoy, you know, a walk or something. Do something together that you're not thinking about, the diagnosis or what's going on with the child, but a time to just decompress just with you two together. Take time for yourself. If you're not whole, how are you going to be able to be there for your husband or wife as well? So you have to take time for yourself. Take care of yourself. Take some self-care things. Take some time for yourself. Go for a walk. Go get your nails done. Go do something. To help you relax and help you feel decluttered in the brain. So that when you two come, yeah, so when you two come together,
take me away.
yes, take a bubble bath or something. And those are some of the things and have a sense of humor. See, that's one thing that I learned. Having a sense of humor, baby, okay. Cause Mr. K made me laugh. But like you have to learn to laugh with your spouse. Learn to laugh at the shenanigans your child. Cause like the girls know a child. I'll be cracking up. Mr. Caleb be having me dying laughing. Child, Caleb be just yeah. Caleb, yeah. So, I've learned to laugh at the little things that he does, the crazy stuff that he does. Like he always if he touches the wall, he has to go get a paper towel and wipe it down. Don't ask me why. I don't know. I guess he just thinks that he needs to clean the wall every time he touch it. Go figure. But
I like clean walls. I ain't mad at him.
I
mean, fingerprint.
No, sis. Look,
just touch
we
it.
go through a case of paper towels within a couple of days, girl. No, we don't want that. We got he need to get some stocking paper towels. OG dad be like, boy, you don't went through them towels already.
Hey, I touched the wall too many times.
Yes, and he likes to do things in the dark. Like every door has to be closed. So he does some crazy things, and having a sense of humor brightens everything up, even though sometimes you be like, okay, you're thinking about his life, where his life is going to lead. But then when he just does the craziest thing, be like, child, please, Kayla, fine. So, a sense of humor is definitely it. And the last one, celebrate those victories together. Guys, if you have with the father or mother or husband or whether, you celebrate those victories. Celebrate every time they learn a new word, when they learn how to do something, tie the shoe, put their clothes on by themselves, brush their teeth, say a new word,
celebrate with each other,
everything. Exactly.
When spouse has handled something that they may not have handled, in such a good way before, and now everybody's getting a little better and a little more equipped. Praise.
Exactly. Yes, you did that. Okay.
All of these points that you have on this whole thing is great for everybody for parenting.
It is. Yeah. That's why I was like, well, shoot, this
awesome.
Is parenting all the way.
You created a
great and if you really look at it, not really for parenting, it's for marriage period. When you talk about communication and all that stuff.
And a lot of these things should be discussed before even having children. What ifs, what if, because it can be a possibility your child can be born blind or deaf or spectrum.
Exactly.
So it's a toss of the dice. You don't know. Just like people like, oh, I want a girl. No, boy, pow.
Boy, yeah. Exactly. Oh my God, let's see what's going on in chat. Ain't nothing crazy about closing. I cannot. Well, he like all the doors closed. So touch. I'm trying to think. Caleb, just child, please. And all the lights out. Everybody got to be in the dark around here. All right. So again, these are some reflection questions for the couples. If you want the packet, I'll give you the email and or the website where you can go and order it. Let's pick one question. Let's see. Okay. One of the questions is, when during the day, do you manage to have a good conversation with your husband? Or is it always about something negative? So those are here. These are some of the questions that's in the reflection book.
Here's what you missed on the last episode of Red Lipstick Vibes.